Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am Stitchywitch42, both here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. Today is Monday, the 14th of February, 2022. Last year at this time, we were experiencing the worst ice storm that has happened in Oregon in, well, as long as I can remember. I think it was the night of the 12th that things started getting icy and we lost power. I know that on the 13th of February last year we got our first COVID vaccines because one of the pharmacies here in town, there was no power, there was no light, there was no refrigeration, and simply by word of mouth, one of the little pharmacies here in town got it out and about that they were giving free COVID vaccines because they had like 24 of them that they had to use up or lose. Our neighbors came and told us about it. We headed right down and got our first COVID vaccines. Here we are a year later, and it's about 45 degrees outside. It's rainy, it's a little bit windy. Yesterday was a very mellow day. It really wasn't much warmer than that, but I actually had the pellet stove turned off for a while and had the front door open just to air out the house. I went out and I took some pictures of things coming up in my garden. Snowdrops are already up, my hellebores are already up. My tulips and my daffodils have about 4 or 5 inches of green leaves above the soil. Spring is on the way, but we still have to wait until March 21st for spring to actually start. So anyway, I just put up a video Friday night, and here I am 3 days later doing another video. That one was special. It was the one that I had asked if people wanted to see my take on mill hill kits, and I got it done last week, and I have to tell you, I procrastinated on that one. I am not tech savvy in the least little bit. I have finally learned how to use the camera to record. If I have to put clips together, I can put clips together. But I was a bit intimidated to get started on that one because I wanted to start, stitch, and complete a mill hill kit and get it all recorded. And I don't know how to fast forward on videos, and I don't know how to insert words on top of videos, and so the whole idea of having to do it in multiple segments really had me intimidated. But I finally told myself, you know, I cannot succeed if I don't try. And that's something that I have to remind myself of often. If I don't try something, I'm never going to succeed at it. So, I started recording that video on Tuesday, February 8th. Got some of the stitching done that day. Did more stitching the next day. Did the last stitching on Thursday. And then I spent Thursday afternoon doing all of the beading on that piece. And the piece that I stitched in my video was the Mill Hill Kit Antique Keys Trilogy, the Spring Key. And this is the finished piece here. I love this. I love the way that it turned out. And I don't know if you can see the bling or the sparkle, but it is just beautiful. And I decided to make this into a bookmarker. But I hadn't completed it at the end of the video. I had it on the ribbon, and I had these 4 beads on it, and I forgot that I had to have beads on the other end because that's what you use to cinch the ribbons together around the pages in your book and actually make it a bookmarker. So there is a completed picture of it on Instagram, maybe. I don't know what I do or where I put it. Yeah. Anyway, so the video for this is up. It went up Friday night, Saturday morning, depending on where you're at. It is probably my longest video to date. Almost an hour and a half long, but again, it goes from the beginning of me stitching this to showing how I do the beads to completing it, and here it is, fully finished. And thank you to the people who have already watched that video and commented on it. I appreciate all the comments. So, start, finish, FFO. Fully finished object. I'm sitting in front of my sideboard. I have some previous February finishes up here. I know today is Valentine's Day. I don't particularly like the commercialization of Valentine's Day. The jewelry companies that tell you you have to prove your love on this day. And the grocery stores that are jam-packed with all the flowers that they sell for twice as much because of Valentine's Day than any other time of the year. If you love somebody, they know. You do things all year long. Mark does little things for me all the time. I do things for him all the time. It's just the way it is. It doesn't take one day to prove that you love someone. Do I sound jaded? It's because I've worked in retail too long. Mark sent me a text message this morning with a whole bunch of hearts on it, and it made me so happy. So, there's still something romantic in this cold retail heart of mine. But I refer to these as my February stitches because, yes, they're pinks and they're reds and they're love and they're February stitches. It's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is one that I stitched last year. It was a free pattern. I don't remember where I got it, but if you wanted to know, I can look it up in my journal from last year and let you know. But I finished this one as a cube finish. I used Helen D's tutorial, and that's kind of why I wanted to show this piece off in particular, because one of my other finishes that I'm going to show you, I also want to finish as a cube finish. So I have to go back and look at Helen D's tutorial before I get started on that one again. So this was a free pattern that I stitched last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. This one here, Always, is a Liz Matthews. It was also a free pattern if you get her newsletter, as was this one. It says Bloom. It was another free pattern from her newsletter. This is some of the beaded trim that I use my leftover Mill Hill beads for, and I think it just makes a lovely little way to enhance a little pillow and use up all those extra beads. On Instagram, I posted a picture of this, and someone asked me where this one came from. This is a pattern from That's So Kelly, Stitch Daily, and I finished mine very similar to how she had hers finished, even going out and buying the roll of twill tape, 25 yards of it. This was a free pattern that I stitched 2 or 3 years ago. My friend Stacy sent me the pattern, so I stitched it. She may have sent me the floss, I don't remember. The love key up here. This was a free pattern that Becca, Sambrie Stitches, had stitched this one. So I went and found where she had it, and I added both marks and my initials up above it. And then this one is a pattern from Darling and Whimsy Designs that I stitched and finished. And this little one was also a free pattern, but I do not remember where I got it. Again, if it's something that you're interested in, let me know, and I will try to go look in my notes and see if I can find where I got that one from. But I like this on the little stakes. I've got a piece of foam, I have a piece of foam in my little glass vase here, and I just put them on stakes and made a cute little bouquet. So, what have my February stitches for this year been? There's been, I think, 3 that I've gotten finished this month. I had decided that I was going to work on my Alphonse Mocha, and I was doing that. I'd spent all day doing that. And then I went and I looked at Instagram, and Bluebonnets and Whiskey posted a piece that she had just finished, and it was darling. And she said in her post, she listed the designer as Little Robin Designs. So I immediately went over and purchased my copy of the pattern. It was an instant download. When I got it, there's actually 3 patterns in there. So while the first one of the patterns was what Bluebonnets and Whiskey stitched, and what I wanted to stitch, it wasn't the first one I stitched. The first one that I stitched was a quote from F. Scott Fitzgerald. "I wanted to know you breathed and moved in the same world with me." So I stitched this on a 22 count even weave that my friend Mucha had sent to me. I stitched it 2/2, and I used 2 different colors of DMC floss for this, 815 and 154, a burgundy and a grape together, and it gives it a nice depth because I blended the colors. And I just like the way it works, and this is probably the closest thing I'm ever going to do to having a red sampler. But I got this finished, and then I started stitching the second one, the one that drew me to these patterns. This frame was one I got out of a box that Mark had bought at a garage sale years ago. I think he spent $10 and got this huge box of frames, and I have used so many of them out of that box that it is virtually free. Painted it to the color I wanted, got it pinned and taped this morning, and I really, really like the way this looks. I just need to add the hanger on the back, and it is fully finished. But the one that caught my eye and made me go check out Little Robin Designs was this one. "You Have Bewitched Me, Body and Soul." I stitched this on the other half of that same piece of fabric, so this is also the same 22 count even weave. Excuse me. I start talking and I get all scratchy throat. I used 2 colors of floss on this, again, both DMC. Variegated floss for the border. 4210, and for the words, 718. I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm going to have a coughing fit here. Again, this was the first of the 3 patterns that I got from Little Robin Designs. This was the one that attracted me to go getting those patterns from her, and I really, really liked the way that it turned out. I used 4210 for the border. It's a variegated DMC, and 718 for the words. I haven't decided whether I want to finish this one as a flat mount or take it down to my local frame shop and have them frame it for me, because it's a narrow piece. So I'm still trying to decide what to do with that. Okay, where to put things? One, two, three. Okay. The 4th piece that I stitched for February was my Primitive Hare from her cross stitch calendar 2021. Was Candlemas. In the calendar, the flosses that she recommends using are, there was 1 DMC, 1 Krynic, 1 Weeks Dye Work, and 3 Gentle Arts. I did mine all in DMC, so I came up with my own conversion. This is another piece of fabric that was sent to me from Mucha. This is an 18 count even weave, and I stitched this one 2/1. And I stitched it 2/1 because it's a very loose even weave, and I wanted this to be filled in. But I love the color of this fabric. It's a very rustic color, and I think that it is perfect for this. This is the one that I want to finish as a cube, just like this one. But I need to go watch Helen's tutorial again. So, 4 starts, 2 fully finished, as in they're framed or completed, and 2 that need to be fully finished. Now I'm going to show you my Alphonse Mocha. So, let me spin the camera around and show you where I'm at with her. What I started working on was this area down here. I think this is page 13 that I'm working on. There's 4 pages across, so it'll be 13, 14, 15, and 16. And that should put me halfway on finishing this piece. I still have the white edge that has to be stitched down. I've been working on filling this one in and coming down and stitching some spots in the page down below. I do that so that I'll have markers that I can count off of. The edge of this first page is right along here, but I've been slowly starting to creep into the second page here again, so I have markers to stitch off. But this is where I'm currently working. Now, let me unwind her and you can see more of her. So there she is. I think she is stunning. But then again, every Alphonse Mocha that I have worked on, I think is absolutely stunning. The detail that shows up in these pieces just blows me away, how all these colors can blend together and come out so beautifully. So very, very beautifully. This pattern was put together by Cross Stitch Collectibles, which is one of the places that I highly recommend if you want to stitch an Alphonse Mocha. So let me spin the camera back around and we'll do some more talking. I'm going to have to play around with doing some editing on this video too, because I may have spun the cameras around just a little bit too fast, and I don't want anybody to be nauseated. The only other thing I've done is I decided that I had to go make a purchase, because I watched Anna, and Anna is now giving herself gold stars when she completes projects. So I decided that I needed to do the same thing, and I went out to the local variety store and I got this package of Avery foil star labels. But whereas Anna is giving herself a gold star, I've decided that I'm giving myself a blue star, because blue's my favorite color. Oh my gosh. So going through my journal, when I finish something, I'm giving myself a blue star. This is my journal that I got last year from Chris Yo as the Yo Flies. I took last year's insides out, put in a new set of them. So far in 2020, I have finished 8 projects. 6 of them are fully finished, and 2 of them will be finished probably later on this week. I'm either going to take that one to the frame shop and let them do it for me, or make it a flat mount, or go to the frame shop. I don't know. I don't know. And then Candlemas has to be turned into a cube so that I can have that out and in my next February display, because Candlemas is February 2nd. So I think that is everything that I have to talk about. I am doing a giveaway in my Mill Hill video. If you want to know what it is and what you need to say for that giveaway, you have to go watch the video. So, until we meet again on some random date in the future, live long and stitch on, everyone. Bye-bye.